They say the ocean is my home, but today it's my enemy. I've battled its storms my entire life, but will I have the strength to protect my children? When the next tempest strikes, who out there can save me now?
Christmas in the depths of the ocean carries a peculiar, serene beauty. The sea creatures eagerly decorate the coral reefs, with glittering seashells forming magical shapes. Every small corner of the seabed glows with vibrant colours from the bioluminescent jellyfish. Gentle lights descend like stars in the night sky, reflecting on the water's surface, creating a mysterious and shimmering scene. Shoals of fish glide in graceful, synchronized circles, resembling dances in a festival that could only be performed beneath the ocean. Yet, for Mera, this festive season is far more than mere joy or tranquility. Each Christmas awakens a silent worry deep within her. Mera is a mother, and like all mothers, the love she has for her children is the most precious thing in her life. But as she watches her children grow, an inevitable fear begins to take root. A fear that one day she might no longer be able to protect them from the dangers that life, whether under the ocean or on land, relentlessly brings forth. Mera's children are no longer the innocent little ones they once were. They are growing into independent beings, charting their own paths in life. They've become more adventurous, more daring, constantly exploring the world around them with an insatiable curiosity. And Mera, a devoted mother burdened by her unwavering concern, cannot help but wonder if she can protect them forever, shielding them from any harm that might come their way. The ocean was Mera's home, the place where she grew up, the place where she found joy and strength. However, today the ocean was no longer the gentle companion she once knew. A terrifying storm struck without warning, like an ambush from the sea itself, carrying the wrath of nature. The wind howled like sharp blades, carving dark, jagged streaks across the sky. Towering waves crashed with immense force, sweeping away everything in sight as if trying to devour it all. Everything around turned blurry, desolate, leaving only the deafening roars of waves and the menacing shrieks of the wind. Mera could feel the immense power of this storm, so strong that she couldn't hold her ground. A creeping sense of worry and fear coursed through her veins. Her mind reeled, unsure of what to do. The ocean, once her sanctuary, now felt like a cruel, unrelenting adversary. She dashed desperately toward her beloved daughter Leila, who was being pulled into a massive whirlpool. The towering waves seemed less like a natural part of the ocean and more like a monstrous force of destruction, consuming everything in its path. Mera spotted Leila, her youngest child, being tossed about in the swirling waters like a fragile leaf. Leila couldn't move, couldn't cry for help. Her faint voice broke through the thunderous crash of the waves. "Mom, help me!" The plea pierced Mera's heart like a dagger. Despite all the storms she had faced in her life, despite being a part of this vast ocean, this time, everything felt beyond her control. Fear swelled within her, not fear of the storm, but fear of losing the child she cherished more than anything in the world. Mera couldn't just stand by and watch. With every ounce of strength she had left, Mera charged toward Leila, defying the relentless onslaught of the storm. Each wave that struck her body felt like a brutal punch, twisting her form, tearing at the scales on her skin as though stripping away layers of her very being. She could feel every wound, every searing pain that pierced to her bones, yet she couldn't stop. Her eyes remained fixed on Leila's small figure, growing more distant with every passing moment. Mera cried out in despair, pushing herself to swim faster, but the colossal waves crashed down upon her, thwarting her efforts, making them feel futile. Mera's body felt as though it was being crushed under the weight of the ocean's fury. Each second, each minute, the situation worsened. She couldn't overcome the storm's might, couldn't swim fast enough to save her child. Every wave drained her energy further, but she refused to give up. Her daughter was in danger, and Mera would not abandon her. In her most agonizing moment, Mera felt the weight of all her sacrifices. All she had done to protect her children seemed insufficient to change this grim reality. Leila, her precious child, was being carried away by the violent currents, and Mera could do nothing but watch her disappear into the storm. Every lesson she had imparted, every word of encouragement about resilience and inner strength, seemed powerless against the ocean's wrath. This sense of helplessness bore down on her heart like an unyielding mountain of stone. Her efforts, no matter how fierce or unrelenting, weren't enough to protect the child she loved most in this world. Fear and anguish overwhelmed her, making it almost impossible to breathe. Memories of Leila, the moments they had shared, played in her mind like a haunting dream. The feeling of loss, the ocean's mercilessness, seemed to erase everything she held dear. Yet in that moment, when all hope seemed lost, Mera realized something profound. Motherhood, she understood, wasn't just about unconditional protection. It was about empowering her children to overcome challenges, to stand firm in life's toughest moments. Mera came to terms with the truth. While she couldn't shield Leila forever from every storm, she could teach her how to face them. Mera gathered herself, her eyes locked onto Leila, brimming with determination. Even if she couldn't alter the situation, she knew that sometimes she couldn't do it all alone. Moments like this reminded her of the loneliness of being a single mother, of the deep sorrow in feeling powerless to protect her children. But Mera pressed on, understanding that her love wasn't just a shield, it was a guide, teaching her children to survive in a world full of storms. The storm continued to rage, like a colossal sea monster, unstoppable in its path, devouring everything in its way. Mera felt like a small, insignificant fragment, powerless against the ocean's fury. Waves struck her body with ferocious force, each gust of wind robbing her of balance, leaving her feeling utterly drained. Though she was a creature of the sea, accustomed to battling waves, Mera now realized an unsettling truth. The ocean, her home, could transform into her most ruthless adversary when enraged. Wave after wave crashed upon her, and Mera could do nothing but push forward, swimming toward Leila, her daughter. Her eyes never wavered from the silhouette of her beloved child, caught in the clutches of a swirling vortex. But the harder she swam, the more acutely she felt her own helplessness. The storm seemed intent on consuming everything. Yet in a moment when Mera thought she could do no more, a miracle unfolded. Amid the vast, relentless sea, when all hope seemed extinguished, a familiar figure appeared amidst the chaos. Chemo, the fisherman Mera had saved years ago, had returned. In that instant, Mera could scarcely believe her eyes. A man as strong and steadfast as Chemo now stood amidst the tempest, arriving precisely when she needed help the most. Chemo did not abandon her, did not leave her to face the storm alone in her desperate hour. Chemo was not just a friend, he was a hero in Mera's eyes. He saw Mera grappling with one of the most painful and despairing moments of her life. Recognizing the boundless sacrifices she had made, Chemo resolved not merely to be her companion, but to stand as her protector, her ally in overcoming this harrowing trial. "Mera," Chemo called out, his voice calm and steady amidst the roaring storm. "I know you're worried for your children, but you must remember, while a mother's love is incredibly powerful, it also requires preparation. I won't let you face this fear alone. Together we will do everything we can to protect them." Chemo's words served not only as reassurance, but as a profound awakening. Mera began to understand that a mother's love, though irreplaceable, might not always be enough. Was unconditional protection truly the best solution for her children? Or was her role as a parent also about teaching them to confront life's challenges and endure its harshest trials? These were questions Mera had to confront as the storm raged on. "Chemo!" Mera shouted, but her voice was swallowed by the crashing waves. She felt as though she was losing, as though she had no strength left to fight. But Chemo didn't need to answer with words. He met Mera's gaze with unwavering determination, then leapt toward her and Leila without hesitation, plunging into the turbulent sea. He faced the merciless waves head-on, pulling Mera into a small, safe pocket of water. His presence was like a beacon of light in the darkness, like a father figure willing to sacrifice everything to protect his family. For the first time amidst the terrifying storm, Mera felt a fleeting sense of safety and calm. Yet just as Mera thought they were safe, a heartbreaking realization struck her. Leila, her daughter, was still nowhere to be seen. Mera cried out in sheer panic, her voice trembling with desperation. "Leila, where are you?" But there was no response, only the relentless crashing of the waves. Chemo turned to Mera, his eyes filled not only with concern, but with resolute determination. "Mera," he said, "we can't fight the ocean with brute strength, but we can face it with wisdom and patience. We may not be able to conquer everything, but we can teach your children how to stand tall." Mera looked at Chemo with astonishment, his words echoing deep within her. "What can we do now?" she asked, her voice quivering. "This storm is too strong and... Leila." Chemo didn't answer immediately. He held her gaze, his eyes steady and filled with resolve. Taking her hand, he ensured she wouldn't falter. "We need to swim away from the heart of the storm. Once we're safe, I'll help you find Leila. But remember, the ocean never forgives. It's teaching us a lesson in survival." Chemo's words were more than encouragement. They were a stark reminder of the challenges they faced. This wasn't just a battle to survive. It was a fight to uphold the values of love and sacrifice. The ocean, vast and unyielding, seemed to test their limits, probing the strength of a mother's love, the bonds of friendship, and their resilience. But Chemo refused to let Mera give up. He didn't just save her once more, he helped her realize that this storm was not only about battling the waves, but also about confronting her fears and doubts. Chemo and Mera pressed on. Despite the ceaseless onslaught of waves, despite the cruelty of the sea, they resolved to swim beyond the tempest. They knew that protecting their family required deliberate, determined action. Every stroke they took was not just against nature, but also against the temptation to surrender. After some time navigating the treacherous waters, they found a small, calm haven. Mera let out a sigh of relief, but her eyes remained heavy with worry, her thoughts fixated on Leila. Chemo held her hand firmly, his voice steady and sure. "Mera, we will find Leila. We will find her. But remember, the greatest lesson the ocean teaches is survival. It spares no one who isn't ready." They locked eyes, their shared resolve unspoken but palpable. They weren't just fighting against the storm, but against the fear within. Yet they understood that in such dire times, love, resilience, and sacrifice were the keys to overcoming any obstacle. Ultimately, Mera and Chemo's journey wasn't just a battle against nature. It became an exploration of the hidden strength within love and courage. The challenges they faced only served to solidify their understanding that a mother's love, the bonds of friendship, and an unyielding determination would guide them through even the darkest storms. As Mera gazed into Chemo's eyes, she realized this truth. No matter how dire Leila's situation seemed, no matter how ferocious the storm, love and sacrifice would always drive them to endure and prevail. When the terrible storm finally passed, the ocean began to calm, restoring the tranquility that Mera and Chemo had longed for. The raging waves subsided, giving way to a serene, magical space beneath the sea. Despite the lingering fatigue and exhaustion from their battle with the ocean, Mera couldn't help but marvel at the untouched beauty of this place. They swam toward a secluded area, free from the storm's reach. There, the seabed was covered with soft, verdant meadows of seagrass, stretching out like a velvet carpet. The delicate fans of massive coral reefs shimmered under the gentle glow of bioluminescent jellyfish, creating a mesmerizing spectacle. It was a paradise beneath the ocean, a place seemingly untouched by humans or any other creatures. Mera took a deep breath, soaking in the peace and serenity, yet her heart remained restless with worry for her daughter Leila. Chemo guided Mera to a safe spot, helping her lean against a submerged rock so they could rest after the storm's fury. He gazed into her eyes, his expression a mix of concern and unwavering determination. The two sat in silence for a while, hearing only the soft, soothing sounds of water lapping gently around them. It was the calm after the storm, a rare moment of stillness that Mera hadn't experienced in her arduous journey. As Mera began to regain a semblance of strength, Chemo broke the silence, his voice cutting through the quiet like a revelation. He shared a story he had once heard from a friend on land. It was a tale that not only captured Mera's attention, but also sparked a flicker of hope in her heart, as if the story might hold the key to protecting her family from the ocean's cruelty. "Chemo, what are you trying to tell me?" Mera asked, her voice soft but filled with curiosity. Chemo's gaze turned serious, his voice low and captivating. "Have you ever heard of the Kingdom of the Blue? A place beneath the ocean where all sea creatures live under the protection of a mysterious force. This force can control the fiercest storms, halt the ocean's wrath, and keep everyone within its boundaries safe and secure." Mera stared at Chemo, her curiosity gradually replacing the worry that had clouded her mind. His story was like a fresh breeze, sweeping away the fears that had weighed her down. Her voice trembled slightly, but it was laced with hope as she asked, "A kingdom like that? Does it really exist? Could it help me protect my children, Chemo?" Chemo fell silent for a moment, his eyes distant, as though recalling the tales of old his friend had shared. When he spoke again, his voice was firm and filled with conviction. "According to my friend, the Kingdom of the Blue is a place even the gods of the sea cannot breach. It's guarded by an invisible force, ensuring that no harm can come to any creature within. This might be your last chance to find safety for your family." Mera couldn't hide her surprise and wonder. This story felt like the miracle she had been yearning for. Chemo's words reignited a glimmer of hope in her heart, one she thought had long been extinguished. Under the protection of such a mysterious force, could her children truly be safe from the storm's wrath? Could she finally find a place free of fear, where her family could live in peace, shielded from the ocean's immense power? Gradually, hope began to replace the worry in Mera's heart. Yes, a kingdom like that might be her final opportunity to save her daughter and protect the children she had sacrificed so much for. Turning to Chemo, her eyes now brimming with determination, she said, "So, what do we do next? How do we find the Kingdom of the Blue?" Chemo turned to Mera, a gentle smile spreading across his face. "We have to continue our journey. The Kingdom of the Blue isn't easy to find, but if we stay on the right path, if we persist, we just might discover it. The intelligent and courageous creatures of the sea will help us, if we know how to call upon them." Hearing Chemo's words, Mera felt her anxieties begin to ease. This story opened up a new path of hope for her. A chance not just to protect her children, but to embark on a journey in search of peace, a place where love could triumph over all challenges. "If such a place truly exists," Mera said, her voice resolute, "I'll do everything to find it. I can't let the raging waves and my fears destroy my dreams of a better future for my children." Chemo nodded, his gaze firm and resolute. "We'll go together, Mera. No one can face the ocean alone. But with love and determination, we'll find the way." From that moment on, Mera and Chemo set out on their journey, swimming through gentle yet challenging waters, seeking the Kingdom of the Blue. They weren't just battling the ocean. They were confronting the fears within their hearts. This wasn't just a voyage through space. It was a spiritual journey, where every step was a struggle against their own doubts and vulnerabilities. With each passing day, Mera felt herself growing stronger. The love of a mother, she realized, wasn't merely about protection, it was about teaching, about sacrifice, so her children could stand tall in life. And Mera understood that no matter how many challenges her children might face, she couldn't always be there to shield them. But she could prepare them with invaluable lessons to face life on their own. With Chemo by her side, Mera gradually realized that this journey wasn't solely about finding a safe haven. It was about rediscovering her own strength, her faith in love, and the resilience of the human spirit. Together they moved forward, united by a shared purpose and unyielding determination to find the elusive kingdom of the blue. After the devastating storm, Mera and Chemo decided to embark on a bold journey filled with hope and peril to search for the kingdom of the blue. According to Chemo, it was a place that could provide everlasting protection for her family from the ocean's cruelty. But the journey was anything but easy. Even as they swam forward with resilience and sacrifice, immense challenges kept arising, as if the sea itself was testing their determination and the strength of their love. From the very first days, Mera realized this was no ordinary journey. The ocean, though seemingly tranquil, harbored countless dangers. Once again, Mera understood that no matter how strong her love was, she couldn't escape the hardships of life. She had to face them, not simply run away. One morning, as sunlight barely pierced through the clear waters, Mera and Chemo swam through a lush seagrass meadow. They were engrossed in conversation, sharing hopes of safety and peace awaiting them ahead. But suddenly, the water became eerily still, and even the gentle lapping of waves ceased entirely. Mera felt a foreboding chill. She turned to Chemo, and in that fleeting moment, she realized something was amiss. A dark shadow emerged beneath the surface, moving as swiftly as lightning, seemingly hurtling straight toward them. Chemo noticed it immediately. He quickly pulled Mera aside, but it was too late. A swarm of massive sharks had appeared, gliding swiftly past the coral reefs, their razor-sharp teeth glinting under the sunlight. These ferocious predators posed not just a physical threat, but a mental one as well. Sharks made no distinctions. They attacked to survive, and now Mera and Chemo were their targets. Mera could feel the tension thick in the water. The delicate waves of the ocean, once a source of peace, had now become a realm of danger, threatening their very lives. While Mera's love for her children gave her unparalleled strength, she knew it wouldn't be enough to battle the ocean's predators. They weren't just contending with the sharks' physical might. They were grappling with fear, with the helplessness of not being able to protect themselves from immediate danger. Chemo motioned for Mera to swim as fast as possible. They couldn't fight the sharks with brute strength. Instead, they had to swim with speed and precision, evading the deadly attacks. Together, they darted through the coral reefs, hoping to find a safe haven. Fleeing wasn't an ideal strategy, but at that moment, it was all they could do. Just as they escaped the sharks, another challenge struck. A sudden tsunami appeared like a giant fist, pounding toward them. The waves began to rise in the distance, forming towering walls of water that surged forward relentlessly. Mera could hear the deafening roar of the ocean, the violent crashes of waves slamming against underwater rocks. The waves swirled, creating rapid, rising tides, unpredictable and overwhelming, leaving Mera and Chemo no time to react. "Look out!" Chemo yelled as he saw the tsunami rushing toward them. Mera could feel the looming danger closing in, but no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't overcome the destructive force of nature. This wasn't just an ordinary wave. It was a tsunami, powerful enough to sweep away everything in its path. Mera felt her body hurled high into the water like a dry leaf in a violent storm. Her eyes managed to glimpse a faint light glimmering on the surface, a light marking a temporary refuge. Together they swam toward it, seeking safety away from the wrath of the tsunami. There was no time to process what had happened, only the crushing sense of despair and fear that they might not survive. After escaping the tsunami, Mera felt her heart tighten as she thought about her children. The journey was far from easy, and she began to realize that even with the strength of a mother's love, she couldn't always shield her children from every danger. Every step of this journey felt like a battle for survival, not just against nature's challenges, but against her own helplessness in protecting those she loved most. Yet in that moment of despair, Mera came to an important realization. Motherhood wasn't just about unconditional protection. It was about teaching her children how to stand strong, to face the world, and to fight their own battles. It was a lesson in resilience, in never giving up. A mother couldn't always be by her children's side, but she could teach them to confront life's challenges with courage. As they continued their journey, they faced countless trials and unimaginable dangers. But with every test, Mera grew stronger, realizing that this journey was not only about protecting her family, but also about teaching her children the values of bravery, perseverance, and never giving up. No matter how powerful a mother's love may be, life's challenges cannot always be avoided. What matters most is that, even when faced with endless trials, a parent's love and sacrifice become the driving force that helps children rise, fight, and stand tall in life. Mera was not one to give up easily, but as the ferocious storms swept through her ocean, she understood that even as a mighty creature of the sea, she couldn't protect her children from everything. The storm didn't just tear apart coral reefs, it took everything she had cherished. After the tempest subsided, Mera and Chemo, her longtime companion who had faced many challenges with her, decided to set out on a journey to find the Kingdom of the Blue, a mythical place, as Chemo described, that could safeguard Mera's family from all harm. The beginning of the journey. Mera and Chemo embarked on a journey that was not just about seeking a safe haven, but a challenge of love, sacrifice, and resilience. They began with immense hope, believing that the Kingdom of the Blue would be a sanctuary, a place where Mera's children could live under absolute protection. But little did they know, this journey would be far more difficult than they imagined. From the very beginning, the ocean wasted no time in testing their resolve. Only a few hours into their journey, they encountered a swarm of ferocious sharks, moving with lightning speed, their eyes gleaming with menace. Mera felt fear welling up inside her, not for herself, but for her children. If anything were to happen, she wouldn't be able to protect them. The strength of a mother's love was boundless, but when faced with the raw power of nature, Mera painfully realized that love alone was not always enough to protect everyone. Chemo, with years of experience living in the ocean, quickly recognized the danger. He pulled Mera toward a coral reef to avoid the sharks. As they took refuge, Mera turned to Chemo, her eyes filled with worry. She asked, her voice trembling with unease, "Chemo, how can we protect our children when we can't even protect ourselves?" Chemo was silent for a moment. Then he looked at her, his gaze steady and compassionate. "We won't protect them with strength alone," he said, "but with perseverance and determination. We can't shield them from everything, but we can teach them how to stand firm against the storms of life." Not long after they escaped the sharks, an even greater challenge loomed ahead. A sudden tsunami began to rise in the distance, massive waves surging upward as if to engulf the entire ocean. Mera and Chemo were caught off guard. The surface of the sea transformed into a chaotic painting of turbulence, with waves crashing violently against their bodies. Everything around them turned into a blinding white haze of foam and spray. Mera felt a deep helplessness growing within her. No matter how strong a mother's love, she couldn't fight against the overwhelming force of nature. The colossal waves seemed intent on sweeping everything away. In that moment, all Mera could do was run. But what pained her most was the crushing realization that she couldn't protect her children, couldn't keep them safe from the ocean's fury. Chemo grabbed Mera's hand, pulling her toward calmer waters, away from the raging waves. He said little, but the determination in his eyes gave Mera a sense of reassurance. "We must keep going, Mera," Chemo said, his voice steady and encouraging. "Your love is your greatest strength, but if we don't persist, if we don't find a safe path, we can't protect the children." Mera and Chemo's journey wasn't just about overcoming the challenges of nature. It was an internal journey as well. Mera began to understand that while she might not be able to shield her children from everything, she could teach them how to face challenges head-on. The true essence of love wasn't in protecting them from all harm, but in teaching them resilience, in showing them to never give up, no matter how harsh life might be. A mother's love wasn't just about unconditional protection. Mera realized that true love meant teaching her children to stand strong, helping them grow stronger with each passing day. That love wasn't about wrapping them in an impenetrable shield, but about preparing them for the struggles ahead. And throughout this journey, Mera understood that a mother's sacrifice wasn't just about guarding her children from life's trials, but helping them learn to face those trials on their own. Day after day, Mera and Chemo continued their journey, braving difficult challenges. But with each step, they found an opportunity to teach their children the strength of love, sacrifice, and perseverance. They couldn't protect their children from everything, but they could show them how to confront life, teaching them that no matter how many storms they faced, the love of family would always be the force that helped them rise above it all. And finally, after a long and arduous journey, they found traces of the Kingdom of the Blue. This place was truly magical, a realm where the ocean could not harm the creatures that lived within. The Kingdom of the Blue was everything Mera had hoped for, a sanctuary for her family. But in her heart, she knew that safety wasn't the only treasure she had found. It was the invaluable lessons of motherhood and sacrifice. Mera realized that the safest place wasn't a place without danger, but a place where her family could face challenges together, where the love of family became the strength to overcome anything. In the end, after a life-threatening battle with the ocean's ferocious waves, Leila, Mera's youngest daughter, emerged from the storm and swam back to her mother. As the final waves subsided, Leila appeared, her body exhausted, but her eyes brimming with strength, courage, and confidence. "Mom, I did it," Leila said, breathless but filled with pride and joy. "I learned to face the storm." Mera stood there, unable to hold back her emotions. She embraced her daughter tightly, tears of happiness streaming down her face. These weren't tears of worry, they were tears of immense pride. Mera felt a profound sense of fulfillment in her heart. Finally, she realized that all the sacrifices and fears she had endured were worth it. In that moment, Mera understood a powerful truth. A mother's sacrifice wasn't about protecting her children from all dangers. It was about teaching them to stand strong in the face of life's challenges. The worry that had weighed on her heart began to dissolve, replaced by boundless pride as she saw her children grow. Leila had learned her first lesson from her mother. The ocean isn't always gentle, but within its trials, we find our strength. It was a lesson in courage, perseverance, and most importantly, learning to stand tall against the waves. And Mera, now, was not just a mother who protected her children, but a teacher who had instilled in them the strength to overcome life's challenges. Mera's story wasn't just about motherhood. It was about the unconditional sacrifices of parents, about unwavering love and faith. It was a story of parents who would give everything for the happiness and growth of their children. It was a story of strength, of how we confront hardships and learn to fight not just for ourselves, but for those we love. As Mera looked at her children, she realized that no matter how vast and challenging the ocean may be, the love and lessons she had given them would forever be their strength to face every difficulty, every storm. Mera's story isn't just a legend of the sea. It's a powerful message for anyone fighting for their family, their love and their survival in this world. Challenges don't define us. They are the stepping stones that help us rise and grow stronger than ever before. Mera taught her children that love isn't a gift easily given, but a sacrifice made unconditionally. That love wasn't just about protection, but also about teaching and preparing her children to stand tall when she was no longer there. This was the greatest lesson Mera wanted to pass on. Motherhood isn't just about giving, it's about teaching your children to face challenges and protect themselves in a life full of hardships. But is Mera's story truly over? Can she protect her family forever? Can her children survive and thrive in an ocean full of storms, full of trials and dangers? This story has only just begun, and there is so much more to uncover. Every child, every sea creature carries their own story, And Mera's journey with her family is sure to write new chapters filled with drama and emotion. What do you think of this story? Do you empathize with the sacrifices that parents make for their children? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to ensure you don't miss more magical stories about family, sacrifice, and legends from the deep sea. Share this video with your loved ones in the US. And together, let's spread the messages of love, sacrifice, and courage to everyone.